welcome to the Reluctant Knitters podcast. I am Adrienne. I am the Reluctant Knitter. I am coming to you from Connecticut, where I live with my husband, Sean, and my Great Dane, Elizabeth Bennett. It's been a little while. It's been kind of crazy couple of weeks. So yeah, but I have some stuff to show you, so it's really exciting. Okay, where you can find me, I am on Instagram as the Reluctant Knitter, and I am on Ravelry as Reluctant Knitter with no E in the knitter. So there's a Ravelry group, the Reluctant Sisters podcast group, but there isn't really any activity in there. I would like to at some point do some knit-alongs and stuff, probably after the new year. So I don't know about that. I might talk about that a little bit later as far as what I'm thinking, but, which isn't really very much. But anyway, so yes, I heard some people like to hear about the weather, so it's been pretty cold. Yesterday it was like just 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and it flurried a little bit, but I think because it's been so cloudy, it's been like, it's felt really, really cold. And last week we had, actually Thanksgiving was wicked cold, like brutal cold, really, really, really windy. So, yeah, I mean, it's Thursday. I think it's October 29th, 29th, I think. I don't know. And yeah, so it looks like it's sunny out today. I have some things to do today. I have to go to the orthodontist and I have to go to the grocery store. So hopefully it's a nice enough day where, oh, I have to go to the post office where I'm not too freezing. So let's get started. I have two finished objects, which I'm excited about. The first one I'm wearing is the Waffle pullover by Nina Phillip of Knitting Expat Designs. It is a test knit, so I don't know when the pattern is gonna come out. I'm sure she's gonna do a knit along for it. If you guys are interested, I may try to have a knit along for it because I really like the pattern. It's a really simple knit, but it's interesting enough to hold your attention, so that's good. So I'm gonna push the camera back so that I can show you the whole thing, and then I'll talk a little bit about it. So here we go. So I did a gradient. So it's stockinette in the back, and then it is a waffle pattern in the front. I do think that I'm going, this poor thing has been blocked twice now. I do think I'm going to reblock it because the front, because of the waffle pattern, I'm sorry, it was folded, so it has some fold lines, but the waffle pattern is shorter than stockinette, so I think I want to block it again and just kind of try to open it up a little bit more, just to get a little bit more length out of it. I don't know. I've knit some sweaters. Bring it back in. I have knit some sweaters for other people. I've knit two sweaters for two other people, and they both fit great. And every time I knit a sweater for myself, there's like something weird about it. I think this is the fourth sweater I've knit for myself. So I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand my body. I have no idea. So anyway, I knit this out of Knit Picks palette yarn, which is 100%, I think it's Highland wool. And I did this out of the kit. I can't remember now what the kit is. I'll try to put it on the screen what the kit is. And it came with 5 colors in 50-gram balls, so I had to get 2 of them, but it was really inexpensive. I think it was $30-ish, around $30 for both sets. So it's very affordable, which is really nice. So the first color, which is the lightest color here, this is custard, and then we have safflower, and then we have cornmeal, semolina, and canary. So initially, when I first started talking about this on a couple of podcasts ago, I had these two switched, and this was going to be number 2 and this was going to be number 3. But then when I saw my sister Sarah before Rhinebeck, she told me to switch these two, and I'm glad I did because I think it does look better like this. Yeah, because this is like the only one that's kind of like, I don't know, it's not as vibrant. So I think it was like hard for me to figure out. Now, I think when they showed the picture of it on Knit Picks, these two were switched, so that's why I did it that way. And then when I got them, I kind of thought maybe I should switch them. I hadn't started knitting the second color yet when I saw Sarah, and she had said, oh, no, definitely switch them. I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about it, and then I don't know. So I ended up switching them. So all of the ribbing is a 1x1 twisted rib. And every time I start podcasting, my dog wants to play. So, and I'm trying to do this early because, like I said, I have some stuff to do. So I kind of knew like that she wasn't going to be like sleeping, but hopefully she's not too disturbing. All of her toys are back here. That's why she's back there. So, and then she'll just pick out like the most random toys that she never, ever plays with, just because she wants attention. So, like I said, I hope she behaves enough. And, yeah, so it's knit top down. I don't know what she wants. It's knit top down, and then, you know, and then you join it in the round, and then it's knit in the round down, and then the sleeves are knit in the round as well. So, hold on one second. What do you want? What is it? Do you want this? I don't know what you want. Okay. So yeah, and like I said, it's vanilla enough to watch TV while you're knitting it, but it's interesting enough to be interesting. I kind of messed up right here, which you can kind of see. I think I didn't do the pattern part. I don't know. I don't know what I did. I don't care. I can't care. It would drive me crazy. I don't think anyone will notice. Whatever. So that's that. Okay, so then I have another finished object. It is a hat for my husband. So this is, the pattern is Stormy Waters by Elena Nodal. So yeah, it fits him. He tried it on. He really likes it. I've never blocked a hat before, which isn't true. I've actually blocked a hat that I knit magic loop because I wanted it to get the lines out and stuff. So I'm not sure if I should block it, but I don't think it really matters because once it goes on, it's not really, it doesn't, whatever. So I'm going to put it on for you guys. So yeah, so this is that. I mean, it doesn't really come down totally over the ears. He pulled it down and it did. But that's the only reason why I think maybe I will block it, because just to open it up a little bit more. I think it went under the chair. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. It was very fast knit. 1x1 twisted rib. Hold on, I think it went under the chair. And it is a free pattern on Ravelry. So it's pretty cool. I knit this out of, I guess I'll leave it on, out of Plymouth Yarn Galway worsted. And this is 100% pure wool. So it's 100 grams for 210 yards. And I got this when we were in Maine. I told the whole story about it, how I'm knitting Sean a sweater, and now he wants something, a hat to go with the sweater, and now he wants a scarf. I bought 2 skeins of this. This is how much I have left, and I have 1 more skein. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get, probably, a scarf. I'm sorry, that was Lizzie. A scarf out of a whole skein, and I don't know how much is left of this, but, so I guess I'm gonna look at some scarf patterns and see if I have enough. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough, and he was like, we'll just have to buy another skein. All right, so. Anyway, so that's that. Okay, there we go. How's my hair? My hair has like no body and no, well, it's got shape because I cut shape into it, but very hard to mess it up. So there we go. Okay, so now moving on to whips. I have one whip that I'm currently working on. I was just thinking I need to pick back up my cardigan, my Elton cardigan by Joji Locatelli. I haven't knit on it since the last time I showed it on a podcast, so I'm not gonna show it now. Technically it's a whip, but I haven't worked on it in a little bit because I was working on my test knit. But I'm working on this for Sean. This is the Nelson pullover. It is by Irina and Akiva. And this is how far I am. So I have to knit 14 inches from the opening of the armhole. So I'm just doing stockinette in the round right now. It has cabling on the shoulder, and then the cabling goes down the arm, and then you pick up and knit a cowl, kind of. It's not like it's like a manly cowl. So yeah, so the yarn is Knit Picks Swish worsted in copper, and this is 100% superwash merino. This comes in 50 gram balls and 110 yards to 50 grams. I'm knitting this on my interchangeables, Knitter's Pride Melodies of Life interchangeables. This is a US size 7, 4.5 millimeter. My little stitch marker here, this is from Barbara of the Flame and Fiber podcast. She makes these. So I think, yeah, this was part of a little set of 5, I think, stitch markers that she gave me when we did a swap. I really like it. So, no, Liz, no, come on. She likes to go behind the couch, and somehow the couch got like pushed back against the window. No. And so she can't fit. So she goes behind there and then gets stuck. Come on, Liz, Lizzie, come on. Good girl. She's got to back up. Come on, Liz. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. Something about this is, so I had to knit, based on my husband's chest measurement size, I had to knit the largest size, which I think is like a XX or something. So when knitting this, according to the pattern, the armholes are actually, I don't know, so I've never knit a men's sweater. They look enormous. Like, it looks really, really, really big. So I actually just had him put his arm through it like this. And it might not be too big, it just looks really big to me right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knit the length, knit the length according to the pattern, and then I'm gonna put it on waist yarn and have him try it on, because he's not a big guy, so chest circumference wise I have to knit the biggest size, but if the arms are too big, I mean, he's not like a big bulky guy, I may knit a size smaller in the arms and just have to like pick up and like, you know, pick up less stitches so that it kind of cinches up. So I'm gonna put it on waist yarn, have him try it on. If I have to do a smaller arm size, I'll do the arms and then finish the sweater, because if I have to pick some of these stitches up and like close it up a little bit, I'm not sure if it will make the length not long enough. So then I'll have him try it on again and knit more length if I have to. That's my plan. Am I making this too complicated? I'm not a really, you know, it's hard because the patterns that I knit, I understand patterns. So the patterns that I knit sometimes are a little more maybe advanced. I think this was considered an advanced pattern. I'll have to look it up. And I don't think it's obviously not advanced because it's just stockinette in the round, but I think they consider the cabling advanced. And I knit in Tarja like pretty early on when I started knitting. So, I don't know, I'm the type of, the way that I learned how to knit, I saw something I liked, it inspired me, and I wanted to knit it. So the first thing I ever knit was maybe I said this before, and I'm sorry if you guys don't want to hear it again, but I didn't say welcome back. Welcome back to returning viewers. I'm glad you're joining me again, and welcome to any new viewers. I hope you like it. So the first thing I ever knit was a square for a Cozy Memories blanket. My sister Sarah taught me, and it was like size 1, US size 1 needles, so that's small, and it was on fingering weight yarn, which is not generally how I think people start knitting, but I never wanted to knit before. I like hand knits, and I wanted my sister to knit me things, but I never wanted to learn how to knit myself. So she was knitting a Cozy Memories blanket. I thought it was really cool, and I'm like, I want to knit that. So she taught me how to knit a square, and then gave me a bunch of these little, I think they're called like bonbons that you get at like Joann's. They're like little mini teeny skeins of fingering weight yarn. So she sent me home with a bunch of those. They're sparkly acrylic. Like, I don't think she was going to use them for anything anyway. And some needles, and I plugged away at that for about 6 months. I plugged away. Then I went to go visit my sister Amy when she was living in Washington State. She also knits, and we went to a yarn store, and I saw a already knit up sample of a knitopotamus, which is just a little stuffy that looks like a hippopotamus. And I said, I want to knit that. I want the yarn for that. So I bought the yarn for that, and I had to buy the needles, and they were US size 0. So you knit them in hexagons. There's like different shapes, hexagons, pentagons, whatever. So you start with one, and then you pick up and knit off of each other. So that was pretty advanced, I think, for someone who only knit one thing once before. So, all right, let me just see what time it is. Sorry. My clock behind me doesn't work, if you're asking. It doesn't. So then I knit that. So I think I've been knitting for, is it almost 3 years? It might be almost 3 years. So I don't think that that's like a terribly long time. It's not like someone who's been knitting for 10 years or anything like that. So I don't, like, I'm just not, I don't consider myself an advanced knitter in the sense that I can't really modify patterns. I don't really know like math, like I know math, but I don't know like knitting math where it's like, well, I like this thing, but I want to knit it like, but the pattern calls for fingering weight and I want to knit it in sport. Like I don't know that kind of stuff. So when it comes to things like this armhole situation, I'm like, am I just better off just knitting it the way the pattern is and the arms are a little too big? Or should I try to kind of modify it so that it fits in better? I don't want to spend all this time. It's not a ton of money. I mean, it's affordable yarn, it's commercial yarn, so it's not like super expensive, but it's not cheap to hand knit something, regardless of, regardless of the yarn, it's not cheap. So, and it's time. So do I want to spend this money and spend this time knitting if it's going to fit a little weird? Like, that's my plan, is to knit the body, put it on waste yarn, have them try it on, possibly do a one size smaller sleeve, see where I'm at. If you guys know a better way, please help a sister out. Comments and questions down below. That's probably the best way to respond to this video is down below. You can also DM me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram very regularly. I'm not on Ravelry a ton, so you can, but I wouldn't really get it. So yeah, that's my plan for that. So that's my whip. I don't think I'm knitting on anything else. That's it. All right, so on to procurements. I have a couple. I went to Joann's yesterday. A friend of mine who is a very new knitter. She has knit, and she's not like a regular knitter. She knit a couple of hats. Her first thing she ever knit was hats for her kids. Like I think last year even, and then she wanted to knit a blanket for her sister was having a baby. And then I guess she never ended up doing it. So now she wants to knit scarves. She's like, do you think I can knit 2 scarves for the kids before Christmas? I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're little kids. I mean, her daughter's 6 and her son is 9. It's not like these, you know, big scarves. So probably. So we just found a couple of patterns, like free patterns on Ravelry that are just garter stitch. So that's really easy. She actually already had the needle size. So I said we can go to Joann's and pick up some yarn, you know, because for kids stuff, a lot of times you might want to knit things out of like acrylic so you can wash it, and it's not terribly expensive because their kids are probably going to get it dirty. So she picked out a couple of colors. I don't even know what she picked out, but anyway, so when I was there with her, I was like, let me see what I can find. So, sorry, my allergies. And then I also have Invisalign, in which I talk about every podcast. So it's like, sometimes it's hard to talk. Okay. So I saw this yarn. This is DK Colors Premier, and it is 100% acrylic, but they call it something anti-pilling acrylic. So it is a DK. I don't know why I couldn't, it says it right on it, DK. And I don't think it doesn't have a color. So it's 5 ounces, 383 yards. So 350 meters for 140 grams. And color number 1071-01, Rose Garden. I didn't even see that it said Rose Garden. Am I showing you the right thing? Yeah, Rose Garden right here. I saw it and I was like, it looks like a watermelon. So she said she really liked it. And I said, I don't know what to knit out of it. Like, and she goes, knit me socks. And I was like, okay. I knit her 1 pair of socks before. So I was like, okay. I've never knit DK socks. I've only knit fingering weight socks. So how hard could it be? So I went online. I looked at, on Ravelry, looked at a couple patterns. So I may cast it on today. I'm not really sure if I'll have time. I have to rewind it because I knit mine 2 at a time. And also the pattern that I am going to knit, I should just show it to you guys, I guess. The pattern that I'm going to knit is cuff down, which I typically do 2 at a time, toe up, but I can do cuff down, that's fine. But knitting 2 at a time cuff down is a little tricky when you cast on. So I know that there's a tutorial that I've watched before. So I don't know if I'll do it in this episode or the next one after I've cast it on and I show it to you guys as a whip. I will put the tutorial in there. There's actually also a Ravelry thread on our group. On our Ravelry group, there's a thread for tutorials. So I will pop it in there too. Because I know a lot of you guys, or some of you guys, are probably on Ravelry more often. So all of my show notes actually too, I should have said this before, are going to be down below. I don't do like episode threads just because there's not a lot of activity in our group, which is fine. So, and the other thing is, for me, when I'm watching YouTube videos, podcasts, I don't personally like to go to a separate location to find show notes, because when that person is talking and saying what they're doing, I just want to be able to go right down below and find it immediately. So that's the way I like to do it. If there is an overwhelming response of yes, please put show notes in the Ravelry group, I have no problem doing it. I totally will. But I will put the tutorial in there. So anyway, this is what they are. The PB&J socks designed by Rachel Brockman. And it's nice too, because these are shown in a striped yarn. So that's kind of nice. I'll be able to see what it's going to look like, but that's kind of cool. So yeah, I have knit, I don't remember off the top of my head how to cast on for it, but I have knit 2 at a time cuff down before. So I know I've seen the tutorial and I know I've understood the tutorial enough to do it. So I'll pop that in to the tutorials page. But anyway, so I liked it so much, and it's so soft. And it's not terribly shiny. Sometimes acrylic yarns are really, really shiny. It's a little shiny. But anyway, I liked it so much, I bought one for myself. So I don't know if I'm going to knit socks for myself. I may. I already have a pair of self-striping yarn, White Birch Fiber Company, that I really want to cast on for myself. Maybe just vanilla socks, but Is it Amy? From the Stranded podcast, I think it's an Amy. She just knit one of her Christmas socks in self-striping, and when the color changed on the front of the sock, she did a 1x1 rib for 1 row, and I think that looked really cool, so I actually might do that. Just a little bit of interest. But anyway, so I don't think I'm going to knit socks out of this. I may knit a hat, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. It's going to go in my stash, but I really thought it was really cute. They had a bunch of other colors too. They had, if you guys are near Joann's, they had like a tan gradient. They had a like browns and blues. They had some really pretty colors, but this one I liked the best. So I got that. Next thing I got was Pom Pom Makers. So this is the large. It knits 2.5 inch and 3 3/8 inch diameters. So 65 millimeter and 85 millimeter. They had an extra large one, but I don't know. I feel like maybe that's too big for like something like a hat. I also do eventually want to do a hat with a faux fur pom-pom. So, and those are usually pretty big. I just think they're super cute. But anyway, I got a Pom Pom Maker. So the scarf that my friend Christina wants to knit for her daughter has pom-poms on the end of it. So I just told her, I said, well, I already want Pom Pom Makers. So when you're ready to put the pom-poms on, you can just borrow it. So yeah. So she's also coming over today, Christina, so that I can reteach her how to cast on for a project. So that'll be fun. So she can get started on her thing. Oh, so recommendations, what I've been watching. So Andrea of the Cat Lady podcast, CATT Lady podcast, has been podcasting again. So after Rhinebeck, I think she picked it back up. So I'm a pretty faithful watcher of hers. I've met her twice now in person, and we talk a little bit on social media and stuff. And I just really like her. Like, she's just super down to earth. And the other thing that I really like about her too is that she does knit. She knits quite a bit in commercial yarn, which I really appreciate because it's just really affordable. And she knits like she knit a sweater in yarn that she got from Joann's, which I really like to see, because a lot of times when if you're watching podcasts and people are knitting sweaters out of hand-dyed yarn, it's expensive. That's just the way it is. I'm not knocking it or anything. Hand dyeing is definitely labor intensive and worth the money. I'm not saying that at all. But it's not always affordable for me. So to see actual garments knit up in commercial yarn, even if it's like 100% acrylic, it's nice to see, because I think sometimes like commercial yarn kind of, I don't want to say gets a bad rap, because I don't think people talk badly about it, but I just don't think a lot of people knit in it, and that could be wrong. I could be totally talking nonsense, but and I don't know if something about acrylic. Yes, I'm sure some acrylic yarns aren't super nice to knit with, but I mean, hey, to have a sweater that you can machine wash, I mean, that's win, right? So that's what I really like about her, is actually seeing her garments, her sweaters knit out of this Joann's yarn, which is like awesome because it's really affordable. So, and I think it just opens it up for me, because I really love knitting garments. I really do. But to knit a sweater that's a couple $100s is not necessarily affordable all the time for me. So yeah, so I just really appreciate seeing it actually knit up. So I appreciate it about her. Yeah, so I've been watching her, Amy Florence, I think that is her name on Stranded. I've been watching her podcasts recently. And yeah, but there's not really any like new to me podcasts that I just started watching. So that's that. As far as non-knitting related things, I'm entertainment. I'm listening to this podcast, Believed. I just got it on Apple Podcasts. You can probably get it wherever you get your podcasts. Believed, and it is about the Larry Nassar case. He was the I think like physical therapy doctor for the U.S. Olympic gymnastics, and he was sexually abusing people for like forever and ever and ever. So it's all about that. I really like the podcast. The content is hard to listen to sometimes. I don't want to say it's too graphic, but it's just graphic by nature. And also the way that there's two female podcasters who do each episode, and the way that they talk is sometimes like a little annoying. They over dramatize it. It's a dramatic situation already. It's already dramatic. You don't need to over dramatize it. So the way that they talk is like, they talk real slow to really emphasize what is happening. And it's a little annoying to me. Like, the content's dramatic enough. You don't need to make it more dramatic. It's already dramatic. And then the other thing too is that they play like actual recordings of because Larry Nassar was talked to numerous times. He had numerous complaints and was talked to numerous times about these complaints by the police. And so they have actual recordings of his interviews with the police, and you can hear it very clearly. It's not like it's really hard to hear. You can hear it very clearly. And then they'll like repeat exactly what he said was and completely repeat it. And that's kind of annoying. Like, the podcast episodes are not very long. I think they're less than 45 minutes long. I mean, if you don't have that much content that you are like you're chewing up time by just repeating what they just said, that kind of gets annoying. But the story is really interesting, and so I've kept listening to it. And then my husband and I finished watching the Great British Bake Off, everything that was available on Netflix. So we're kind of like, now what are we gonna watch? Because we really enjoyed it. So we just started watching Final Table. That is also on Netflix. We don't have cable. We technically kind of have cable. We have Hulu Live, which you can watch live TV on Hulu Live, but we actually don't really watch a lot of it. A lot of stuff we watch is on like Netflix, Amazon Prime, that kind of thing. So Final Table is a cooking competition, and it's kind of like one step above Top Chef. So the chefs that are competing on this Final Table are award-winning Beard Awards, Michelin star, own restaurant, like they own the restaurants, like Michelin star rated. Like, one of them was even like an executive chef on his 30th birthday of Blue Restaurant, which is like a really upscale restaurant. So anyway, so it's really high caliber cooking, and so far what they've done is, it's different countries. So the first episode I think was Mexico, and then they all have to recreate a dish, like the signature dish of the country. So it was tacos. So they all had to make tacos. And then what happens is they pick the 3 worst, and they have to cook again with a signature ingredient from that country. So when they cooked again in the Mexico episode, when they cooked again, they cooked with cactus, I think. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a little dramatic. My husband really does not like what he calls manufactured drama, which, so it's not manufactured drama in the sense like Top Chef is, where they like all live in the same house and then they have to like get along outside of the kitchen. This is not like that. And I think they also probably filmed it just over a few days, because he had said, which was a good point, that they probably don't have a ton of time to take off of like their I mean, they own these restaurants. They're not going to take weeks off. It's 10 episodes. They're not going to take 10 weeks off. So I think that they're like, filming these episodes like straight through, like, so there's not really a lot of time for like manufactured drama, but it's pretty dramatic. It's dramatic like, Iron Chef is dramatic. I don't know if anybody has probably have Iron Chef, where it's like the lights and the music and the dun-dun-dun, you know. Anyway, we've been enjoying it. So some of these things are really creative, what these people do, and just to see that level of cooking is pretty cool. So we've been enjoying that. I've also been rewatching The Office, which is one of the most hilarious TV shows ever made, and I started rewatching Downton Abbey because, yeah. So, I don't know. I just like a little bit light TV. Not that Downton Abbey was terribly light. They did talk about some things, and, you know, they did have some episodes that were a little more dramatic, but British drama to me is a lot different than American drama. So, and also I was on YouTube and a recommended video was an interview on the Today Show not that long ago, a few days ago, about a Downton Abbey movie. Yes, please. That would be awesome. So I think they really are like filming a Downton Abbey movie. So that's pretty cool too. Yeah. What else have I been doing? Last week was cuckoo crazy. Like, so that's why I haven't filmed in a little bit because, so last week on Monday, almost 2 weeks ago now, my husband had a small procedure, outpatient procedure. So he was home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then he had Thursday, Friday off for the holidays. So he was home all week recovering. And also some close friends of ours went away to Mexico. So we watched their dog for the week. So that was like, you know, hectic. She's a very needy dog. She's a rescue. I don't know what her history is, but she's needy and likes to be held and stuff and is a little jumpy. So like she couldn't jump on Sean because he had just had surgery and he couldn't help me out like with holding her. She's a pit bull mix. So she's really small compared to my dog, which everything is really small compared to my dog. She's probably like 30 or 40 pounds, like pit bull, definitely pit bull head and face, very, very small body though, but solid. So I didn't like pick her up and hold her around the house, but like when you're sitting down, she wants to be in your lap, which is fine. I'm used to. I have a dog that wants to be touching you or in your lap all the time. But then I have my dog and then I have her, and Sean couldn't help me out because of the procedure that he had done. He couldn't hold her. So that was definitely a hectic week. She did really well though. It was fine. We had a great time with her and my dog. They really get along really, really, really well. So that was really good. But so I couldn't podcast last week because of all of that going on. So yeah, so that was my week last week. And I don't remember what happened the week before that. I think the week before that, I probably just didn't really have a lot to show. So I didn't bother filming. But anyway, so yeah, I guess that's it. I don't think I have very much more to say. Thank you so much for joining me again. Coming back if you've watched me before and checking me out if you've never seen me before. I really appreciate the support and I've had fun chatting with you. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.